This tutorial will assist teachers in setting up their gradebook in Infinite Campus to calculate grades for them at the end of a quarter. We're going to go through the categories, formative and summative, and also the grade calculation options. Let's take a look. So I've logged into my campus instruction gradebook, and I've opened up my settings. It's this little arrow right here which opens and closes my settings. And if I scroll down my gradebook setup options, one of the links is the category copier. Let me click that link to show you what it's going to look like in case you need to copy some settings you already have for the fall. So I am going to look at my math course from my school this year for the 14-15 school year. Notice the categories I have selected are formative and summative. And if I wish to, next year I will have the 15-16 school year here, and I will select that math group and copy the categories by clicking next, and it's pretty self-explanatory. So let's just take a look at the straight categories. I'm okay here. So if I move down the list about halfway down and click on the categories link, you'll get an empty box if it's the beginning of the school year. You're going to want to go to the lower right corner and click the add button in the middle. And it's going to ask you to name your categories. And we have been doing formative and summative. So I'm going to put in formative. There is no weight. I don't need a sequence right now, and I am going to exclude from calculations, and this one is very important, that formative is excluded from calculations. It won't do anything else or show us anything until I check the term box. So check the terms, and then below the term box, if you scroll down, you'll notice that all the science standard statements are listed there. So if we click this top box, everything below it will be included. I'm going to save that and then go ahead and add my summative. And so again, we need to do the items in red or it won't do anything. 0, as long as I have 0.0, that's okay, as long as there's something in there. Maybe I want to keep my sequence at 1. And I don't want to do anything here because I want my summative to obviously be included. I do need to include all my 4 quarters from my course, and again include all of my standard statements. So let's save that for my summative. And there they both are. Notice formative has a little asterisk in front of it because it is excluded from calculation. All right, let's close that. And we're going to move on to our next setting. Next in our settings, we want to take a look at our grade calculation options. And on this screen, you can see a little screenshot of what teachers see when that opens. The default is our number 1 here, the no calc option, and that is the default, so teachers can absolutely enter their scores and assignments and evidence into the gradebook, but the program will not do any calculations. So it's totally up to the teacher to take a look at the evidence that's been entered and assign a student a score. But the other option is the proficiency estimate rubrics, and that's our number 2. So we have some choices here with Power Law, highest score, Motive Last 3, Motive Last 5, and the most recent. So let's take a closer look at those and how they affect the gradebook scores. Okay, in the gradebook we've got grade calc options. I'm going to click that, and this window will show up. No calculation again as default, but if we go to proficiency estimate rubrics and select that one, another drop down box will open up. I'm going to go to skip Power Law for now, but go to highest score. Pretty self-explanatory. We need to save that though. And I happen to have my gradebook open, so I have got about 6 pieces of evidence in here. And what's happening then is I've got in this posting column and my summative column the highest score for each of the students as you look across them. So again, highest score is going to be the highest score that's been recorded for each student during that grading period time. All right, let's take a look at the next one. So next, if we check mode of last 3 for our next option, let me save that and take a look at what that looks like in my gradebook. We'll slide over to see all of our assignments. And again, the mode of last 3 will show up in the summative column for teachers, and then when the posting window is open, they will see the posting window have that same score. What's kind of neat lately is if we hover over each of these, it gives us a little dialog box on each student with the potential scores from the other estimates. So you can see there's a power law trend decimal number, a highest score, a mode of last 3, which is underlined because that's what we've selected so far. Mode of last 5 would be a 2, and the most recent's a 2. So that's a handy little tool for teachers just to let them know what would happen depending on which rubric they selected to use. And now I've switched to mode of last 5, and you can see my summative scores have adjusted slightly. And again, if I go hover over these, I should get that back dialog box showing me what the mode of last 5 is with the other rubric estimates too. The most recent option will simply put in the most recent score that had been entered, and the most recent will put the newest entry into your gradebook in as the final summative grade or your posted grade. So let's take a look at power law and see what that does. So we've selected power law as one of our grade calculation options here, and we've selected power law as one of our grade calculation options here. It's our last one, and according to Infinite Campus, the definition of power law here is that it's a mathematical calculation converting proficiency levels into numeric values. It also determines a trend based on student scores. So in this case, power law works on the assumption that standards are assessed at constant intervals, such as weekly. And if there's not going to be consistent entries of data, it may not work as a best choice for some teachers. And just take a look at this. I have collected assignments from December 17th to January 21st, and I've got these trends, and my summative has the trend number 2, and they turn into this numerals that are trending. Now our scale only goes from 1 to 4, and notice that depending on how these scores are laying out, it's giving us decimal numbers. So a teacher would have to go in and actually change a posted grade here to an actual 1, 2, 3, or 4. So that's what power law will do in your Infinite Campus gradebook. So all of the gradebook calculation methods that we've been through so far in this video tutorial have been set for the entire content area. I'm just going to show you a quick way that you can set grade calc options by specific standard statements. So let's take a look at that in the next screen. Okay, so if we go into our grade calculation options, and I have it set for mode of last 3 for all of my social studies standards. If I go right up here to the term standard box, there's a show all. If that is clicked, it opens up all of the standards, and the quarter and term is listed in the front, then the standards listed, and then the fill or calculation type is listed. So since I had originally set them all to mode of last 3, that's what they all are right now. And if I go to quarter 2, which is what I'm in right now, and I know that I'm not going to be doing maybe a lot of work in this first standard statement, I may not get enough to do a mode of last 3, I might just want to do their most recent or their highest score. That would make sense in this case. But if I'm going to do maybe this one, I've got a lot of work that I'm doing under this standard, I may want to keep this at mode of last 3 or even change it to mode of last 5. If I'm not going to get too much into any of them, I might want to do a no calculation for this one, and I'll just pop that in when I'm ready. So teachers do have some choices by standard statement to individualize and get real specific on how they're using these different choices for calculating their scores. So why would we want to use a calculation method? How will that work, and what are the benefits? Some benefits to selecting a calculation method and using your Infinite Campus gradebook is that the Infinite Campus will calculate the quarter mark for teachers, where at the end of the quarter, teachers simply verify the scores and can post to the gradebook. It also can allow a teacher to have scores calculated through the quarter for quick reference once evidence has been entered. So let's take a quick look at that easy posting method. So here is our social studies assignment list or evidence list, and notice if I've set this up correctly, I get my summative scores, which once the posting window opens will show up right here in the gradebook. If this is fine with me and I'm okay with these scores, I simply need to just click this red post button once. It's going to confirm that I want it for quarter 2 and that this is the social studies standard statement I would like to assess and post, and I'll say OK, and that will be posted upon save. It did move my posted column, everything over here. If I want to make any changes here, I certainly can do that by simply using the drop down and can change my score. Once I get everything the way I like it, I hit save, and my scores are posted to the report card. So that is one of the reasons that using the Gradebook for Infinite Campus can be very simple if it's used consistently through the quarter. Thank you. If you have any other questions or concerns, contact your Building Infinite Campus coach or myself at mvaleri@kusd.edu.